What I find stupid is that, um, ooh, Steve Kane. Ooh, Jared. Okay, nice. This was
Please,
this YouTube.
yeah. Remember how said I don't like you getting distracted
Oh yeah.
by the chat?
Fuck. What's it called? No, I just think it's like it's it's the same. Okay, it's the same reason I don't like shows like Jackass. Like just when people do stuff to their body that's like clearly not good for it. To me, that's like it's just I don't like the idea of that because you're just hurting your own body. How do you not vomit after that? Like,
I mean, it was 3 hot dogs and
oh,
three
and you
beers.
won?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I thought.
it was a eating competition.
Oh, well, that could. Okay, first of all, I thought it was like 27.
No, they don't. We All Leaps doesn't have the funds. Well,
That's pathetic.
to feed all the hungry open micers that would enter.
It did.
Why I entered. Yeah, there
That's
was.
really why you entered?
Well, also it was fun, but I
Right.
figured free food. I'm not gonna turn that down.
Huh.
I don't try to sell.
So that brings me to a topic I'll get into in a moment. But the other thing is, so yeah, okay, three is not crazy, but if you speed eat, yeah, like I would make myself nauseous with that.
Well, yeah, but you do it for glory.
I guess I don't know. I don't believe in putting my body through crazy shit for anything.
But I mean, even like the NBA, do you know how
That's different.
they put their body through crazy shit?
Yeah, but that has a productive goal. Like, so let's say
Well, the productive goal is a child's game.
no, I'll explain to you what I mean.
Okay, well, explain.
They go through, let's say they're training and they're putting
Okay.
it's very hard on their body, but ultimately the outcome is they get bigger muscles, they get stronger, they get more athletic. So you go through the pain to get to the game, so to speak, not to be cliched, but for real. But with the hot dog, you're not bettering your body anyway in the long term. It's just you're just putting it through something
I'm
now.
putting food in it, but it's also so it's worth it just for the muscles. Even though a lot of the NFL they they improved their bodies. They get a lot of muscles and shit, but then they also get a ton of concussions.
Yeah, that's
CTE.
yeah. Well, that's
They their career ends early.
yeah. That's all pretty fucked up. That's like I wouldn't want my kid playing not in the NFL. I mean that that's a lot. That's a far cry. But like even like yeah, I wouldn't want them playing like whatever contact football to that degree. If that's the kind of risks that are happening, yeah.
Have you seen LeBron James's toes?
Toes, no.
His feet? Alright. Let's see if I can pull up his feet. I, I don't know if I can show it on stream. That might be a ridiculous thing, but right
Plus,
now.
right there. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna go to Google.
MF Doom songs where he mentions.
Oh.
I was looking at your suggestion. Well, that's not good. That's what the hell. Why is the toe? All right. I mean,
just cause he's doing all those
how does that?
steps and
Well, okay, yeah. So that's not good. I don't know. I believe in preserving.
do you remember what your other topic that we...
Yeah. So this is I'm gonna sound really like out of touch.
That would be a complete first for this podcast.
Right. But why are people so broke? Like like in let's say just in our world in comedy, I understand if somebody grew up in tremendous like poverty, trauma, like watching their cousins get shot on the block. Like okay, I get that. That takes an impact on you, and mentally the trauma and your surroundings are a certain way that you're just thinking how to survive day to day. You're not thinking about making a better life and all these things. I get it. But people who grew up in like relatively middle class environments, maybe lower middle class, maybe regular middle class, maybe up, but they're not like they weren't fucking looking over their shoulder every day on the way back from school, and their parents weren't fucking drug addicts and child molesters. Like if that's not the case, right? Why are so many people so broke? At open mic, it's always like, I'm broke. Anybody else here broke? And I'm like, I feel left out. I'm a little jealous.
Because you're flush with cash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how to answer the question. Why are people broke?
I know why you're broke.
I'm not an economist.
Right. But I don't know. I feel like you're broke, so you'd be able to explain the other brokes to me.
All broke people think alike? Or
Well, no, that would be.
Why do you think people are broke?
Well, all right. So the category I just mentioned is self-explanatory, right?
Rich category.
Like if they grew up in severe poverty, trauma, abuse, like they're mentally like it's hard to hold a job or to care about school or to function in society when you've dealt with all that shit. If you haven't like went to therapy and addressed it, and even if you have, it's a lot. Like so I'm talking about extreme poverty, extreme trauma.
I feel like you're just summarizing every hood movie to me right now.
But it's real, so it's not real. I mean, it's people living like that, right?
Some.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't have to be in the hood.
Who's the brokest person you know?
Well, you can't get less than zero, so everybody who has zero is all equal. I guess it could be in debt.
Yeah, just in general.
Like comedians or
in your life.
Well, in my family, nobody.
Okay, well,
I'm being honest, but like as far as no people that I meet, like people who had what I described, like people that grew up in a fucked up situation like that. I'm not gonna say who specifically.
You don't have to describe them generally to me, like without.
Yeah, so fucked up family history, abuse, some kind of drug addiction in the family, violence in the neighborhood.
It sounds like you're describing an imaginary person to me.
Why?
It just does. Like you're saying fucked up. You're not giving me a specific about them. You don't have to reveal who they are.
I'm telling you what they're dealing with. What do you want me to tell you?
You say drugs in their family, like mom, dad, or drugs. What drugs? Do you know?
Why does that? Okay, yeah. So I don't remember these exact details about everybody, but like for example, when I was in the mental hospital, right?
Okay.
Most people there were from this sort of background, so
but
yeah.
I want you to think of a specific person who's
There was this one guy, Lawrence, who was gay, and he was Hispanic.
Well, that explains why he's broke right there.
Well, no, he was a kid first of all, so I'm talking about a 15-year-old kid, 16.
But that also explains why he's broke right
his
there.
family though. But I assume now I wouldn't be surprised if he was still broke. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying his mom is an alcoholic, abusive, didn't accept him for being gay. I think he had schizophrenia. So those are all reasons. Yeah. Other people. Yeah, like parents on alcohol and heroin, molesting at a young age. Brother gave them crack when they were 12. Shit like that.
I know people like that who are broke though. Like
who aren't.
Yeah.
I know. You can still make it, but I'm saying I understand why that environment would create a lot of people in financial struggle. Not everybody, but I understand.
So in your head, broke is a mindset.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you know what the fuck I'm saying. Just move on.
And also we're trying to podcast.
I know,
nothing to talk about.
I feel like you're busting my balls, even though you know what I'm saying. All right, fine.
Let's talk, Dennis.
Sometimes I feel like if we were talking about this in the car, you would know exactly what I mean. But now you want to give me a hard time.
I would give you a hard time in the car too.
Fine. All right. So I'm confused. What do you want me to tell you again?
I mean,
I told you.
I want you to think of a specific person you know today in your life who's the brokest person you know.
For what purpose?
You'll talk about broke people. So,
but what is it gonna do you if I find a specific person?
It'll give us something to talk about.
Yeah, but I don't want to put this person on blast.
It'd also put me in the mind state of knowing what your perspective
but I don't want to.
Because it sounds like you're coming with absolutely no perspective, and you're just describing imaginary scenarios. So I'm like, let's make it very real.
Wait, so you don't think that people I describe exist, or that I've met people in this scenario?
No, I don't. I think that you're talking about imaginary.
Why do you think I'm making it up?
Because you have a history of describing scenarios that were all in your head,
okay,
like how every comedian is a degenerate.
All right, so hold on. This is I don't have to prove myself to you. Like I don't have to like if you're not gonna believe me, like I mean, we gotta trust each other if we're gonna work together, if we're gonna be friends. We can't just fucking assume the other person's lying.
Well, this conversation sounds like it's not based in reality, though. I would like to.
I don't know how you'd like me to prove it to you. You want me to
I'd
bring
like
the person here?
no, just describe a person, a specific person who you know now, and you can currently talk about how broke they are.
I don't want to do it because if they ever listen, they'll know it's them.
Well,
and I don't want to put them on blast, like, personally.
But you do think that they're broke.
Well, that's not a thought. That's just what it is. Yeah, that's not my opinion.
So then you can factually talk about that.
Yeah, but people are not going to want to hear you talking on a podcast about how broke they are. Obviously, because they're probably embarrassed of it.
I mean, you don't have to reveal who they are, and if you think that it might cause problems with that specific person, then bring up the second brokest person that you know. But I'm not going to talk about you in vague generalities.
Well, why not? Oh, hold on. You tell me about a person that you know that's really broke, and why?
I'm broke.
Besides
because
yourself.
I'm unemployed.
Besides yourself.
Well, I don't think about people being broke in general, so I don't.
You don't hear people talking about it?
Not that I take seriously and internalize, and because you brought it up as
a
very
confusing conversation.
You brought up broke people as a topic. I'm like, let's talk about broke people, and then you start spitting out vague ideas. I'm like, no, let's make it real. So that I can, because I can't talk to you about vague ideas.
No, it's not vague.
Explain.
It's not a vague idea. I'm talking about a trend in society. It's not about a specific person. It's about
if it's a trend,
a general issue.
If it's a trend, then there should be at least a person that.
Of course there are, but
of course there are. But you're giving me no examples of them happening. So that's like me saying, of course I've got 1,000 dogs in my backyard.
No, hold on. Regardless of whether or not you believe me, everything I described, have you not encountered people that fit some of those criteria?
I've met people who fit some of those criteria.
Yeah, not everybody fits all at once.
But I'm not going to say those people are broke. But why are you bringing up all of them?
I'm giving examples of everything.
You're not giving examples, though. You're giving the opposite of examples.
Let's move on.
I'm asking for an example.
I don't want to
if you want to move on, then you need to bring up another topic to move on to. Because right now, I want to talk. You asked me a question about broke people. I'm like, all right, let's get into specifics so we can dig into an answer. And now you're just looking at your phone.
No, I was seeing if Katie said that it's working or not. Okay. But what's it called? Give me a moment to
think about who you want to talk about. Because right now it sounds like you've got this vague feeling that people are broke, but you can't come up with a person.
Okay, how about I ask you some questions and don't deflect it on me. Just answer yourself, okay?
Sure. I can't promise not to deflect, but you can ask me questions.
Are there people that are in poverty or broke?
Do they exist? Yes.
Are there various factors that contribute to this in society?
Very complicated. Yes, I would assume so.
Yeah, I'm not just saying I'm saying in general, there are factors that contribute.
I would assume that.
Right.
Yes.
The things I mentioned, such as childhood trauma, bad parenting, neglectful parenting, abuse, sexual abuse, drug addiction, are those not factors that contribute to it that you know of?
Not in a lot of the cases that I know of.
Okay, because I watch. Does it have to be people I know? Because I also what if it's real people that I'm watching? Like on YouTube, there's a channel called Self-White Underbelly. This guy interviews people on the fringes of society.
Okay.
Pimps, hoes, regular people with issues, and pretty much every single person that's really fucked up in life had a fucked up childhood with either abuse or drugs or the parents didn't want them.
So you're telling me that you watch Soft-White Underbelly and you're like, that's the reality of...
That's the reality of a certain segment of the population.
Of all of those people.
No, they tell you. I don't have to assume. They tell you.
Yeah, but no, they tell you their own specific life stories.
Right.
And you're like, this is for each one person that you see, you're like, this represents...
No, because it's a pattern. I've watched hundreds of interviews, and there's a pattern that emerges. The people that are in the most fucked up state now have a pattern of having those childhood experiences. You can also look it up. It's called...
Those people are the most people to interview and make videos about, but
they're the most fucked up in life.
There are people who are equally fucked up but don't have those things.
Yeah, but scientifically, there's something called adverse childhood experiences, which are the kind of things I mentioned. And if you have three or more, your statistic, I don't remember the exact percentage, but you're more likely to have various issues in life, like mental problems, physical health problems, financial problems. You live less long. These are real things. This is studies. This is actually real psychological studies that have been done on this. You want me to pull it up? I think that would be a waste of time right now. But
I also think it would be a waste of
but
time.
but I'm saying you don't acknowledge that these things I'm saying, like I'm telling you that this is a real thing. Like I'm telling you that scientifically it's been proven.
I don't know what you're asking me then. If you're
So then, what are you arguing with me about that it doesn't happen? If I'm giving you proof,
I'm not arguing that it doesn't happen. I'm asking you for specifics because you're just talking in vague generalities. And
all right, this is fucking retarded. So if I really don't want to get upset or mad, but if the issue is why does certain issues happen for people in life later in life, and there's been studies that are done to show some of the things that contribute to it, you acknowledge that's a valid thing.
what are you asking me? Are you asking, like, because you asked me why these issues are, and I'm like, I can't speak to
But
the
all right,
issues
but I'm
in
telling
general.
you, and are you? What are you? You're fucking with my mind. It's really annoying. You're like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. But all right.
So, I mean, I don't know what you're talking, because you asked me why are people so broke.
So I'm saying
And-
that's one of
and-
the categories.
wait, can I finish what I'm saying now? You asked me why are people so broke, and I'm like, who are you talking about? And you're like, other open mic comedians.
Well, there's-
and then I'm like, okay, let's get into examples. And then you start bringing up people on Soft Right Underbelly.
Those are real people.
But were any of those people the other open mic comedians that you're talking about?
So you just
so
want me to
is that-
talk about the first thing? I can't branch off into something else.
We
that's
can
related?
branch off, but it's like anytime that I want to. We started on one topic. That's what I thought we were talking
It
about.
was, and then we changed.
you branched off into something unrelated.
Well, no, I
and
said
I'm
that
like,
to make
well,
a point.
I have no. So what's your point?
Oh my god. My point is that people in those childhood conditions that are now broke, I understand where it comes from. But there's other people who grow up in relatively middle class conditions that are still broke, and that's what I don't always understand why. And I'm
Who
not
are those people?
Billy Bob fucking Schmidt. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't need to give you specific people. Unless you deny that these people exist.
I do.
Alright, then we're not gonna fucking get anywhere. Manny, if I asked you, so what'd you do yesterday? I went to Helium. No, you didn't. Prove it. Okay? What? Like, you can't have a conversation if you don't believe anything the other person says. You can't have a conversation. It's not gonna flow.
We're having a conversation. I don't. What do you want me to say? Like,
Just assume I'm telling the truth. I'm not lying to you, and I'm not making it up.
okay. So you do know a specific person who was born in middle class and is now
Forget
very
it.
broke.
Forget it.
I'm saying I believe you. I believe that you know a person who was born in middle class and is now broke.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Are you thinking of someone?
I'm thinking of a fucking myriad of people.
You're thinking of a myriad of people. That doesn't sound. Can you think of one person in that myriad of people who you can specify it to? You don't even.
I'm thinking.
See, you're just describing these groups of people as if they exist, but then when I ask you to narrow down, you're
So
like,
do you think that?
I ask you to narrow it down. It's like, well, they don't. It's like looking at a fucking electron, where like, yeah, it exists as a cloud, but of probability. But when I'm like, okay, but is there a specific locate? Can you tell me where it is exactly? You're like, no.
It's because I have a hard time remembering the details. I notice them and I form patterns and conclusions in my mind. I don't always remember every detail afterward. But that doesn't mean it's not valid. That's just how my brain works. I notice things, and then I form, and I think of patterns. I think of how it all connects. But I can't always give you fucking Bob that lives on 32 Tulip Drive.
If you can come up with a pattern, the pattern should be based on real
It is
life
based.
examples.
It is based. I just don't remember them after. I don't remember them years or months or weeks after.
But you understand how it's like, oh, I formed this pattern, and I'm like, okay, where did you get that pattern from? And you're like, well, I've got no examples that led to that pattern. Then I'm like, oh, so it sounds to me like you just pulled this pattern out of nowhere.
So if you want to on purpose not believe me, okay, I'm telling you these examples happen. I just don't remember them after the fact. Okay.
And then what am I supposed to talk about?
Assume that it's fucking. Assume that I'm being real.
What am I supposed to? A general pattern? I can't talk about this pattern that you saw because I don't know how you reached that.
So tell me that if you haven't seen that pattern, tell me that you haven't. And
I'm saying that I haven't. And I'm asking you, you claim that you have, so I'm like, okay, well...
I'm not doing this. So go to a new topic. I'm not doing this.
Assuming that you have, you should be able to...
I'm not doing this.
But if you can't, then I'm like, fine. But then we've got nothing to talk about because I don't know why you came to that conclusion. I'm not looking... I can't remember things for you, Dennis.
You're being an extra... But you're busting my balls extra because we're streaming. I know it's more entertaining, but it's also irritating. And it prevents the conversation from going forward. If you're gonna doubt everything,
where would you like this conversation to go?
I don't know. I had places I wanted to, but now I realize I can't.
Ideally, if you could control this conversation, where would you want it to?
I would talk. Okay. And can you please listen to me in good faith and not just think of how to make it funny? I know we want to be funny, but also don't just twist my words just to be funny to someone else.
I will try my best.
But why is it so hard for you just to take things as they are and not try to twist it?
I completely refute that.
You saying you don't twist it?
It's not hard for me. I don't do that. I feel like you're twisting it in the way that you receive it.
I'm not twisting my own words, but okay, or yours. What I was saying.
Yes, you are.
What I was saying.
See, now we're having how does it feel? You're the one twisting my words.
Dude, I honestly, I don't understand how your brain works. I just don't get it. But whatever. Anyway, you wanted me to... Okay, what I was trying to say is I understand, those cases of trauma, whatever, affecting. Then there's the category of people who grew up decently, but they chose to go into professions that are not going to make a lot of money. So people who went into art and different things, like music, theory, or different.
You see how this would be easier if you were thinking of a specific person right
now?
Not
for me. I'm totally fine with it. And everybody
people who went into music. Oh yeah. How many people do you know who went into music?
I don't know, 3 or 4.
Really? And they're all broke right now?
If they're not now, they were for a while until they found a. But all right. So okay. All right. So if you learn about some kind of ancient civilization, right? Are you gonna be like? Give me one person from ancient Rome that was if a fucking you're learning about it, say in ancient Rome people had this belief and they lived like they but name me one specific one. You're gonna say that to the fucking textbook?
No, but they have evidence.
But they don't tell you about each one.
They have evidence that people had those beliefs. They're like, here's a painting of Zeus that someone drew way back. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why.
But I have evidence too because I'm telling you about people like online, people that I've met.
You're not telling me about people that you've met. You're telling me about vague ideas.
How is that? If 3 people all have something in common, and I take from that a pattern, how is that a vague idea? It's based on real people.
But you haven't been talking about 3 people.
All right, so I don't even know what you want me to tell you anymore. So the first thing, so when I was a kid, I was in the hospital. A lot of people there. You want to know a fucking specific guy? I gave you that fucking Lawrence guy. I don't know. So, okay, this one other guy. He was 15, 16. He read on a 2nd grade level. He did ecstasy and cocaine at that age. He never. His mom was neglectful, and his dad wasn't his real dad, who told him that at one time randomly when he was drunk and fucking drove this guy nuts, and he tried to kill himself, and he basically was fucked. And another girl was talking about how her brother gave her cocaine when she was like 12, and then she got hooked on it. She had a deviated septum, and she had like a kid, and the kid very young age. These are all real. These are real people. I swear to you.
Yeah, I believe it because you're giving me specifics.
So
okay. These are people who I'm assuming that you met in the mental
Yes,
hospital.
I don't remember their names. It was a long time ago.
I don't need to know their names. You've told me enough about them that I know that they exist. It sounds like they had fucked up lives. They probably have fucked up lives right now.
Right.
But they also sound like those are examples of people who you're not talking about, because you're talking about people who came from decent backgrounds and are now broke. So
all right, I'll get to that.
So those people aren't relevant.
So even when I say something that is real, it's not relevant.
No,
it is relevant because
it's not. It's specifically not relevant. You asked me about people from good backgrounds who are now broke, and then you gave me people from bad backgrounds. You don't even know how they're doing right now. You see how it's not relevant.
Hold on.
You see how that doesn't establish the pattern that you're talking about. Do you? I'm asking you a question.
Because you're not.
I'm asking you a question. Do you understand how that does not relate to the original question that you asked?
No, I don't agree with you.
You don't agree. So
because it was.
You think the story of these? So you think the story of these people with fucked up backgrounds who you don't even know how they're doing right now, but we can safely assume that they're.
Well, and also their parents had a similar background, and now their parents were a certain way.
So, but you're saying that's the people you do understand. Those.
Yes, I was giving that as an example.
So you're saying those are the people that you don't want to talk about because you do understand.
I started with them.
Yes.
To get.
Okay, but we're talking about the people that you. No. We're talking about the people that you don't understand, and that's who you wanted to talk about.
Hold on. I brought up a general topic, and I wanted to give credit because people are going to say, "Oh, you're out of touch. You don't understand." I'm going to say, "Okay, this category I do understand."
So you're talking about those people to prove that you are in touch.
To prove that I know that there's a certain category and that I do understand.
To prove that you're connected and.
See, you're mocking me.
You're in the street.
So you say that mocking me, right?
I'm not mocking you. I'm just.
I say that to prove that there's a certain category that I acknowledge and I understand. So I'm trying to say that I'm not painting it with a broad brush.
Okay.
Everybody. That's why I brought it up.
Everybody believes that you're not. Everybody believes that you understand those people.
I mean, as much as I can, yeah.
Okay, but let's talk about the people that you don't.
But how come? But you spent 20 minutes hounding me for that. I give you that.
That's not what I was hounding you. That's not what I was hounding you for. That's an example of you twisting my words and misconstruing and misrepresenting and checking your phone again.
Fuck to fucking see. Do you enjoy agitating me and people for no reason?
Sometimes, yes.
Are you enjoying agitating me right now?
Not really, but it's podcasting.
But what if I'm getting? We did this last time too. If I'm getting legitimately agitated, do you think that that's something to keep pushing?
I think that the topic is something to keep pushing.
But the way we're talking about it.
So what? You want me to just suck your dick and agree with you?
No. But I want you to respond in a way that's not gonna that you're not gonna question every little thing I say.
I mean, every little thing you say, you're saying nonsense to me, or you're saying stuff. You're repeating.
I'm gonna check the Instagram. I wonder what they think. Sorry. Oh, they're not there. Okay.
Yeah. Stop doing that.
What are you, my fucking boss?
No, I'm just saying it makes for bad content. No one cares what the people on Instagram think. If they think something, if they're listening and they have an opinion, they'll call in and share it.
I don't even know where to start with that. Okay. I don't care about the broke thing anymore. I thought it was going to be an interesting topic, but it didn't work, so
it is.
You give me something else. I brought up one. You give me one.
What did you... I'm stuck on the fact that, when I told you I wanted to do a podcast together, I said it's going to be... I told you it's going to be mostly us arguing with each other.
I know, but there's a degree of healthy arguing, and then there's the kind where it gets actually agitating to a person. You don't see that difference?
I don't. What would an example of healthy arguing be?
There's no clear. If I'm telling you I'm getting excessively agitated, it means that in that moment
that should be expected in an argument.
You don't have to get agitated in every argument. You can have an argument without getting actually mad at the other person.
Well, that's on you. That's not on me, though. You're the one agitated. I'm not agitated.
You're so fucking immature. On podcast. Otherwise, you're fine.
How am I being...
Because you can't, because you act like people's feelings don't exist, and if someone feels a certain way resulting from your behavior, that's not on me, that's on you. Yeah, but the way you act or the way someone acts affects the way other people feel. Clearly.
Okay, so I'm supposed to handle you with kitty gloves?
No, you're supposed to treat people in general with respect and not act like people's feelings don't matter. Not just me.
I'm not being disrespectful in this conversation.
You know who decides that? The person that feels that they're being disrespectful. You don't decide that. It's the person that feels that way.
Well, some people are crazy and think that they're being disrespected when they're not.
But if I feel that way and you refuse to acknowledge it or adjust your behavior, what am I supposed to do? Just suck it up? I'm not going to.
You're supposed to reflect internally and say, "What am I doing here?"
So it's always my fault. So it's never that you could be doing something wrong. It's always I'm doing something wrong or I'm thinking about it wrong.
I think in this case it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say always, but in this case specifically, yes. And I think in this conversation, you're in the wrong for being agitated. I'm not going to say
nobody's
always.
Wrong. Nobody's wrong for their feelings, by the way. You feel how you feel, whether it makes sense or not. You can't say it's wrong. It's just what you feel.
Okay, well, wrong isn't the word that I used then. I feel like it's an immature emotional response. I feel like it's...
you know what? Because you try to act like you're fucking above emotions, other people's especially, and it doesn't fucking matter, and you want to be this fucking troll that says whatever, and people get mad. That's on them. Ha ha ha. That's what a fucking teenager thinks. Literally, that's what a teenager thinks. Grown-ups realize that the way they converse with somebody, they don't have to suck their dicks or agree with them on everything. But in general, the language they use, how they say it, it makes a fucking difference.
So what about the language I've used or how I've used it is so disrespectful?
That everything I say, well, I don't know if that happened. I don't know if that happened. That's not. If you question every little part of it, it's not going to move forward. It's impossible.
So adding logic and reasoning and my thought process.
No, you fucking also look incredibly snarky when you ask it too.
I'm sorry that I'm snarky. That's just me putting it on for the podcast.
Right. So that's what's agitating.
That I enjoy myself making content.
No, that you are intentionally being snarky for
I'm
content,
not intentionally being snarky.
Me.
I enjoy that
But what if I don't enjoy that part of it? What am I supposed to do? Pretend like I do?
You don't have to. I mean.
So what do I do? What do I do? If I feel how I feel, what do you want me to do right now?
Deal with it. Answer the question.
No, I can't, because if I feel a certain way, I'm not going to leave that unaddressed, because then I'm neglecting how I feel, and I don't want to do that because I think how I feel matters.
Okay, so right now you feel agitated.
Yeah, I do.
And I acknowledge that you feel agitated.
And can you try to be less agitating?
I'm not being agitating.
So we're at an impasse here then?
We are at an impasse.
So you want to drop the call? I mean, I don't know what you want me to do.
I'm just going to continue podcasting.
In my house, if I drop the call, you're going to sit here by yourself?
I mean, do you want to drop the call right now?
If you're not, I'm upset. If you're not gonna take my feelings seriously,
I do take it seriously. You're
laughing about it right now.
I think it's a funny situation from the outside.
Right. But if that's how you feel, that's insensitive to me. So if I feel you're being insensitive to me, why would I want to keep doing this?
I'm sorry. It's funny. I think this is a funny argument that we're having.
But if I'm upset, right,
yes.
and you're laughing at it, don't you understand how that would make me feel?
I'm not laughing at you being upset. I'm laughing at how this conversation is going.
Okay, but if I'm not in the right space for it, and you're just being like, well, it's not my fault, blah, blah, blah. You don't see how that could make me upset?
I do see how that could make you upset.
Well, thank you. Okay, yeah. So, okay. and also, and so that's the first step, and the other step is just to then try to be more respectful.
What do you want me to do?
Are you aware when people get agitated, like genuinely, when it's not fun anymore for them? Can you tell? Because there's a difference. I can tell. Like, I can have a friendly banter, but I can tell when a person's just actually bothering them. I can tell when it crosses that line.
I mean, if we were podcasting right now and you were this upset, I would simply just leave the conversation because I'm not having fun getting yelled at for.
I'm yelling
for asking you. Yes, you are yelling.
So
you don't think that you've been yelling?
Not any more than you have.
I think you've been yelling a lot more, but I don't care. I don't see, because that doesn't matter to me.
I don't care either about yelling. I care about hold on. So if you're talking to somebody in person in real life and they're clearly getting very agitated from something that you might have contributed to, your solution isn't what might I have said that created that effect. Maybe I should apologize. Maybe I should change. Your creation is I'm not going to deal with them. Period. They're just crazy. That's your deduction.
I think if I offered the level of agitation that I've offered in this podcast, and someone was as agitated as you, then they are crazy.
Right. Okay, but then those people have no reason to fucking continue having a relationship with you if you're gonna write it off like that and refuse to admit your own things and maybe try to change your behavior and meet in the middle. Then people are gonna say, well, this person doesn't respect me. They don't care how I feel. They think they're right and always right. So fuck them. You don't see how that leads to that situation with people?
Do you see? What's crazy is everything that you're saying to me also applies to you.
Maybe, but I'm aware of it and I try to keep it in check.
It doesn't sound like you are aware of it, though.
Well, the fact that I'm saying it means that I'm aware of this concept.
You're aware of how it's affecting you, but you're not aware of how
I am actually.
Crazy you're being.
I am. And when I go over,
no, you're not.
Yes, when
no,
I go.
You're not.
So you're not being snarky right now. Clearly,
I am being snarky.
So what am I supposed to say?
I'm being snarky because you're being snarky.
I'm not being snarky. I was being completely genuine. What I'm saying, I meant it. I completely meant it.
Well, then you're delusional.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not. If this is how you're gonna keep talking to me, this is what it's gonna keep being. I'm not doing this. At least not today. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna sit in my own house and irritate myself for no reason. I'm just not gonna do it.
Well, I mean,
so I'm just saying. It's not a threat. It's just what it is.
It's the fact is you're asking. You asked me a question and I'm like, okay. In order to answer that question, I need more information.
Forget all that.
No. See, this is me getting agitated. Because I'm trying to explain to you how I feel, and you're dismissing and disrespecting how I feel.
Even that you're saying mockingly.
Yes, I am, because it's how dumb you sound, but it's also a genuine emotion. I can mock and be genuine at the same time, and I'm sorry that the way that I choose to express my genuine frustration is through mockery.
And everyone should just accept that. Everyone should just accept the mockery because it's just what you do.
No, I'm not saying that you should accept it, but I'm saying I feel like it's healthier than spazzing out on you, like you're spazzing out on me, because I'm also trying to be genuine, and I'm trying to represent how I feel, and you are disrespecting me, and not taking me seriously and misconstruing me and not letting me finish my thoughts. I don't feel like I'm spazzing down on you the same way that you're spazzing down on me, but I do genuinely feel this way.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that I can take for what it is.
You see how I use the exact same words, though? So
yeah, but the way you say it makes a big difference.
Do you see how the content of my message didn't change?
Doesn't matter. It's the way you say it.
But now that we're doing it in a less entertaining manner, that I feel...
Yeah, but it's more real and it feels more acknowledging to me.
It was exactly the same amount of
Manny,
real.
I know you're autistic, but tone of voice...
It was exactly the same amount of real. You see, this is me expressing myself, and you're hurling insults at me.
It's not an insult. That's probably why you don't see the difference.
You're calling me autistic, saying
you said you were.
I know you're autistic, but you don't understand the tone of your. I understand.
No, but that's real. That's not even an insult. Okay. I know that autistic people have trouble with that.
Okay.
That's a real thing.
Okay, I am really expressing how I feel, and I'm doing it. I'm handling you with kitty gloves right now. Because you
got a ways to go. I know you're older than me, but you got a ways to go with this shit.
Okay, well,
the way you say something is very important, and if you don't understand that, that's something you're gonna have to learn because it's very important. It's not just what you say; it's how you say it. Absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like you have ways to go in the fact that people aren't always gonna talk to you the way that you want to be talked to.
And I don't have to talk to those people.
Okay, that's why.
That's called protecting myself.
Remember earlier when I said if someone was being as crazy as you are in a regular conversation, I wouldn't talk to them?
Well, I don't think I'm being crazy. I think you just dismiss emotions offhand.
Well,
probably because of something in your childhood I don't know. Maybe the autism is a part. I'm being honest. I think it's probably all those things. So you don't know how to process in a healthy way. And if someone else displays excessive emotion that might be negative, your thing is to dismiss that as crazy instead of dealing with it because you don't know how to deal with it and you think it's all bullshit.
I'm dealing with it right now.
No, but you're offhand. You want to dismiss it though and act like, oh, they're just crazy. And I don't know why that is. I'm sure that stems from something.
Well, let me explain it to you. You asked me a question. I said, I need more information to answer that.
It's way beyond that. It's happened after that.
See, you asked me a question. I told you I need more information to answer that question. You said, you offered me information, and I'm like, that's not the information I need. You offered me more information. I'm like, that's still not the information that I need to answer your question. And then you attacked me for not respecting your question or your opinion, and it's like
even the way you phrase it seems like you don't take it seriously. That's the problem.
The way that what's wrong with the
you
way
said
that I phrased it?
For not respect, like the way you said it is a mocking voice.
That was not a mocking voice.
Okay.
Was that a mocking? You think that was a mocking voice?
Yeah, because you changed.
I'm sorry that it came off that way.
And the cadence. All right, fine.
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I'll accept that it wasn't. Fine.
Okay, but you do understand that at that point I have to dismiss you as you don't want this question answered, and I can't ask you for more information. I feel like asking for more information is a reasonable request, and if you're going to take that as a personal assault,
I didn't. That's not what I took as an insult. It's the way I kept giving you. You're like, no. How do I know it's real? You could be making it up. So accusing me of making it up, of not knowing what I'm talking about, that's all, and to keep doing it over and over. But more importantly, it's not about you saying from where I'm getting visibly, legitimately agitated, and you keep pushing the topic. Okay? That's the problem.
Well, yeah, people get agitated.
But don't fucking push somebody if it's for fun, okay. If I'm not having fun, then don't fucking push it. We're supposed to both have fun, not just you.
How would this be more fun for you?
If you didn't push it when I was getting genuine. First, you gotta notice somebody's getting genuinely agitated. Then, when you notice, you gotta say, okay, I won't push this topic. We can switch, or we can move on, or whatever. But you don't push the fucking same thing if someone's getting genuinely irritated by it. If you want the show or the situation to continue.
When I started the show.
No, I mean
when I came to you with the idea of the show, I said we're going to be having arguments.
I know, but
I gave you examples of other podcasts I like where people have arguments. In all of those podcasts, both people are agitated, truly agitated.
I think a lot of podcasts is played up. They play up their agitation.
Either way, agitated.
No, it's a big deal. If you're playing it up, you're having fun and you're goofing around too.
Not always. Some of those, you may not have watched all the examples that I told you about. That's fine. But I'm like, I can assure you, it's not all played up.
Okay, well, if I'm doing...
This is me, and I can speak about it because I have specific examples that I'm thinking of.
Good for you.
But you see how having a specific example makes you more confident in the argument, and you can say one thing. Well, I'm like, no, because I know from this sense.
I would have believed you if you had a pattern. You didn't have a specific one. I would have believed you also.
Well, I wouldn't go into that because I like to speak from facts.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to random things that I imagined and made.
So you think I just make it up out of nowhere?
No, I just said that. I just said that to be funny. And we do have to be funny on a comedy.
We don't have to do anything. I'm not a fucking dancing pony. If I feel like being funny, if I'm naturally funny, cool. I'm not gonna fucking clown around if I feel it the opposite way. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. I'm not a fucking clown that you can poke and go, hey, make me laugh. I know.
So do you think people are gonna watch us?
I don't care, because that's not how I feel is more important to me than if people are entertained or not. That's called having self-respect.
So you want to be an entertainer, but you don't care if people are entertained.
I want to entertain people at my own thing. If I'm doing a comedy thing, I have prepared bit. I go and I do it and I'm good. If I'm talking in just a conversation, whether it's on air or not, and I feel bad, I'm not going to fucking disregard that for other people's enjoyment. I'm not.
You don't have to disregard it. Yeah, you have done anything but disregard it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I plan to do. And I'm not
Well,
gonna act like I don't like I'm not upset when I am upset. And if people don't like it, fuck them.
That's
I don't
fine.
care. And people actually do like when there are these what happened now. People actually do like that drama. But even if they didn't, I don't care. I'm not gonna.
So people do like the drama, and I'm here creating drama, and you're like, I don't like that you're doing that.